So here's some horrible news for everybody. The prices of damn near everything that you purchase are going up this month if they didn't already go up in January. And it's not because of regular old inflation. It's because of Donald Trump's trade war. And that is specifically coming from the very companies that are doing the price hikes. So earlier this week, Kevin Hassett, Donald Trump's top economic advisor, goes on CNBC and he whines and complains and actually calls for the punishment of the New York Fed after the New York Fed came out and said roughly 90% of the cost of the tariffs is being passed on to U.S. consumers. Hassett wants those economists punished. Meanwhile, literally less than 24 hours later, a new report comes out talking about all the price hikes happening and all the companies blaming the tariffs for it. Because as many of these companies have said, we tried other price mitigation or cost mitigation avenues and they didn't work. So the only option we have left is now to raise prices for consumers. We tried to cut our expenses in other ways. It didn't work. We can't cut expenses and still put out the same quality and number of products. We got to raise prices. Also, another factor that kicked in roughly in November and is now getting worse at the start of this year is the surpluses ran out. Right before Donald Trump had his, quote, Liberation Day tariffs last April, companies had spent the previous couple months knowing that that was coming, stockpiling imported goods before the tariffs went into place. So we avoided most of the major price hikes through all of last year because we were running off the surplus goods. They still raised prices, but not as much as they wanted to. Come November, the surplus stockpiles had run out. So November saw a record high in the number of imports coming into the United States, the likes of which we hadn't seen in 20 years. So it increased the trade deficit, which Trump says is horrible, and they had to pay the tariffs, which they're now passing on to us because those goods purchased in November are now making their way to the store shelves. Let me read this. Columbia Sportswear said it intended to up the price of spring and fall merchandise by, on average, a high single-digit %. Levi Strauss raised prices in January in response to Trump's tariffs and is continuing to mark up price tags in February. McCormick & Company, the spice company, said that tariff expenses added a whopping $70 million in gross costs last year and will add at least $50 million in incremental costs this year. They initially raised prices in September and plan to increase prices again this month. So all of these various different companies, and by the way, this report specifically also names bedding, furniture, computers, appliances, which are seeing the biggest price hikes, clothing, food, you name it. I mean, literally everything is seeing its price increase this month. It's all because of Trump's tariffs. The tariffs that Hassett said on CNBC earlier this week do not raise prices on consumers. That's stupid. People should be punished for saying this. But the people saying it, not just the economists, not just the pundits, the people saying the prices are going up because of the tariffs are the people who set the prices at the companies. They're telling us price mitigation failed. Stockpiling ran out. We have to do this to American consumers. Not that they're actually sorry for it. They love raising prices for us. But they also understand that at a time when Americans have less and less money, raising prices on everyday goods is going to result in us having to buy fewer everyday goods. So they will lose money on this, and they know that. But it's all because of Trump. He did this 100%. So the next time anybody tries to argue with you that tariffs are not paid by the American consumers, point to the statements from these businesses. Because they may not believe Donald Trump, but they can't deny it, Or they may believe blindly Donald Trump, I should say, but they can't deny reality when the people who set the prices are telling you what's happening. Thanks for watching, and if you are not already subscribed to the channel, please do so, and do not forget to like and comment and share widely among your friends.